Hi, it's Robbie Dwyer for Production Expert. I want to quickly show you a plugin that I think is great and should be as part of your mixing toolkit. It's the KUSH Audio UBK-1. KUSH Audio describes this plugin as not just a dynamics controller, but the ultimate tool to create and shape the movement and groove of a sound. So let's take a listen and see what it does to this track. I think we can all agree there that it's definitely doing some really nice things to all the different instruments that are going on. So let's take a look and see what's happening. In the first section, we have the saturation. Here we have headroom. This is the amount of signal that comes into the plugin. As you dial it anti-clockwise, you're starving the input section, and then you're bringing the saturation in earlier, so there's more distortion. You then got a mix control between the amount of saturated and dry signal that is coming in. And then this nice big dial as to how much or the amount of saturation you wish to add. Each of these VUs, when clicked, bypasses the section. This feeds into the compression section. We have a wet mix, which basically means the saturation goes through straight into the compression. And then we have a blend of the dry signal and compression. So it's parallel processing going on there. We've then got these 5 different compression characteristics: splat, smooth, glue, squish, and crush. Each of them have their own attack and release times and have a very different characteristic and what they impart on the sound. This big dial again for mild through to intense compression. And then we have the high pass sidechain filter to then dial back in the low end, which is unprocessed. This then all feeds into the last part, which is density. Now, if you watch the KUSH video about this, then not really able to explain any more about this than I can, except that it's just then adding and compressing the top end or the mid frequencies. Finally, you then have the master, which then you can change the output level of what's going into it, or then bring it back and have parity. The great thing about this plugin is about using your ears. So let's take a listen to the drums and then listen to the different compression characteristics with the dial where it is now and the compressor set all the way to wet. See, for me, this is where the plugin really excels, and it's just brought out some of the room, certainly in the squish and the smooth. We can then play with the wet setting on this, so you can then blend in the amount of compression you want. So let's go with squish and just dial that in. Then bypass. So in these drums, it just brings life into it. Let's have a look at the guitar. Let's see what it's doing for the guitar. So the saturation on this is really musical. It helps just thicken the sound without kind of being overblown. And the other guitar part as well, we'll just check that out. Again, it just very quickly, it just adds a lot of warmth. So this plugin is great because it tames the transients, it increases the RMS levels, so it gives you a much more solid sounding track. And you can even place it across the mix as well, like I've done here on the mix bus. So for more information about this plugin, head over to the KUSH website, www.thehouseofkush.com. Go and check it out. It's a fantastic plugin. I've been Robbie Dwyer for Production Expert. Thanks a lot.